Coach, welcome to your Media Day press conference. If you could just start.
Jamal Johnson, Jr., Michael Etchels, Senior, and Senior.
Coming off a real special year last year, man. Start by talking about that. It was a lot of fun last season for you guys.
Yeah, we don't have years like that too often, and last year we knew we were going to have a good team, and we knew that we were going to have some success because of a strong senior class that it started 4 years prior, and it was a kind of like a year in the making. And we took some bumps down along the way, but it all came to fruition last year, and yeah, it was real special. But this mindset this year, hey, that was last year. We need to move on. We actually feel really good about this year's team as well. We have a lot of pitching coming back. I actually, in my opinion, think we have better pitching depth overall. We just lost a lot offensively, and obviously we have to shift around the defense. But we do have good pitching coming back, and we're going to be quite competitive because of our pitching, I think. So.
Well, I guess that's your bread and butter. Is that kind of the main, identity of the team is strong pitching?
Yeah, I think pitching and defense. We lost a lot, like I said, offensively. So we're probably not going to have the same type of offensive production where we can rely on our offense. We're going to have to maybe tone it down a little bit and just play a little bit more small ball and make sure we get our sack bunts down, make sure we hit and run a lot, make sure we're aggressive in that aspect of it. But our pitching is very strong. And then I think even though we lost a lot on the offensive side, and they were all position players that had a strong defensive team behind the pitching, we feel pretty good about our returning players and some of the newcomers that transferred in. We have 3 transfers that came in, plus some of the JV guys that's stepping up varsity for the first time. I think that our defense won't lose that much of it won't be that much of a drop off moving forward for this year. And I really, really, really like our pitching. So I think we're going to be in a lot of games, and then the small ball part of it will help us hopefully get that extra run to put us on top.
I really like your pitching too.
2 of the guys are right here next to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It's got to be music to your ears as a pitcher to hear. Hey, you're going to be getting the ball, and we're going to count on you. Talk about weathering that storm. Being up for that challenge.
Yeah, I'm definitely up for the challenge. Yeah.
Very well said, Jared.
Yeah. I don't know.
Jared is the reigning Palm Beach County Player of the Year, and he had quite a phenomenal season last year as a junior. And he just signed to play at Florida State in Jacksonville, and he's going to be one of our key pitchers. And then this guy who only got 11 innings last year, he didn't throw a whole lot, but he threw a lot in the district championship game to knock off Park Vista. So, that was kind of like the plan all along, to have him like kind of not pitch that much as a sophomore, and then this year, now being a junior, we feel like his innings will increase a little bit. And the transfers, all 3 of the transfers that we got are pitchers, so they're going to help the overall pitching depth. And out of the senior class last year, we only lost only about like 35 innings. So I think the combination of the transfers and then Jamal's workload being increased will make up those lost innings. And we got Jared, of course, who was our workhorse last year. There's no reason why I can't have the same type of success that he has last year.
With you getting your innings increased and your role getting larger, do you find it's a little less pressure, a little easier for you to do that, knowing that you've got a lot of depth in the staff?
Yeah, I feel like now I can still pitch more, but not have to pitch as much.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Look, it's all on you basically. You're talking a lot about fundamentals and et cetera, which is over the years that I've covered your program, you've always been very fundamentally sound. Any adjustments, any tweaks, or maybe going back to some things from that?
Well, last year, because our offense was so dynamic and we had a lot of good production, we didn't do a lot of small ball. We relied on getting on base. We had really good team speed last year. We stole a lot of bases. We had guys with on base percentages in the 500s, and we had two of the top 3 stolen base leaders in Palm Beach County with AJ Arico and MJ Restivo. We lost some team speed. So now when these guys get on, instead of bunting them over, we would let them steal, and then we let them steal third, and then we just move the baseball to produce a run. Now we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, maybe bunt a little bit more often, maybe put some pressure on the defense with more hit and runs, like I mentioned earlier. We're definitely going to be a different type of offense, but I think that we can still be an effective offense, especially with what I feel like is going to be a strong pitching staff.
So that's something you guys you're doing a lot more of the fundamental stuff in practice.
Yeah, a lot of bullpens and being able to see how well our pitchers are this year. It's a lot more comforting than it was last year with just really Jared and Jamal. as our main two.
And then this is our catcher this year. He didn't catch a whole lot last year as a junior, but he did get a lot of playing time, got a lot of at-bats. We had a very strong defensive catcher last year. And, going into this year, the kind of like the workload is now going to fall on Michael's shoulders. And there's no reason why he can't be as good of a defensive catcher as we had last year with Nico Magrishian, who graduated. But, Nico caught like 99% of the innings last year. Michael didn't catch a whole lot, but he still got his at-bats and still got some playing time in other positions. But now that workload is going to be on his shoulders, and he's ready for the challenge. And I know that he's excited for that challenge. And, he handles the pitching staff that we do have very well. The good thing about him catching a lot of bullpens last year, he saw the pitchers that we had that didn't get a whole lot of innings, or saw Jared a lot in the bullpens, and there's still it's almost like, yeah, we lost Nico, but we got Etchels right there behind him, and overall our whole team is a little bit. We always lack depth at Santa Lucius. We don't have a big turnout compared to other schools, the other 9A schools especially. We only have 29 players in the program, 15 on varsity and 14 on JV, which actually is a step up from last year. Last year we were 13 strong on varsity, only 13 players, and made practice nice and short. But this year, we're looking to have a successful year. I don't want to talk about last year anymore. It's a new season, new year, new players, and all the returners. They know the expectations of being successful, and my goal is to make sure that we're competitive in each game. And I feel like with what we do in practice and what I've been able to establish at Santa Lucius as a whole is we're kind of like a gritty type of high school baseball team. We don't always have the Division I type players every year, a year in and year out. We don't have the early signee guys like some of the other programs, but I know one thing: when you play us, you're going to get a pretty competitive game, and that's kind of like our mindset going into this season. I'm really pleased with our pitching. I can't stress that enough. I think our pitching is going to be great.
With only 14 or 15 players on the roster, does that sometimes feel like you have to maximize what the pitchers do in terms of maybe playing some positions and using them as, other than a pitcher only?
Yeah, we only have one pitcher only on the team. He's not in this room right now. His name's Jonah Beckenstow. He also swings a little bit, so he has a chance to maybe be a DH kind of player, but he didn't get a whole lot of innings as a junior last year because of the innings that Jared took on, because of Brandon Williams, who graduated, because Miguel Peralta, who graduated. So now Jonah's innings are going to increase a lot. So, and the fact that Jared and Jamal both play shortstop or middle infield, the transfers that came in are going to be playing in the field, and they're going to be coming off the field to get their bullpen innings. And, we don't really have a lot. So our management has been a big kind of thing that we stress at practice. If they need to take a day off, we let them take a day off. But these guys play enough baseball to know the demands of playing a position and pitching.
But in general, you are counting on your pitchers for a little bit of offense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're all there. Everyone but one is going to be in the lineup exclusively, pretty much. And then, I'm going to have to play chess with each game. It's never going to be the same kind of sequence, and it's just going to depend on the work from the previous game, because after Jared's done pitching, he's going to be in the field. After Jamal's done pitching, he's going to be in the field. The next day, they're going to be asked to be playing. Even with the workload of the day before or the game before, they're going to have to be counted on to play defense and hit.
So how does that affect the innings? A lot of times we're seeing at the upper levels of baseball where they're counting innings and not allowing pitchers to go more than 5 or 6 innings in a game. Does this play into your thinking of how many innings you allow them to pitch, knowing that they may have to be throwing balls from shortstop or from the outfield? And does that enter your thinking as to how many innings you might let them throw?
Not necessarily innings, more pitches. It's more pitch count for us. We base everything on pitch count. We never really get close to that threshold. There was a couple times with Jared last year that we knew this was his last batter. There was twice last year. This is his last batter. We're talking about in the dugout, last batter, and then boom, double play, game over. It worked out perfect. We didn't have to make a change. He's cruising. I don't know how many complete games you had off the top of your head, but you were. He is so efficient. He throws strikes. So does this guy. They throw strikes, and if you throw strikes and let the defense work, your pitch count stays low. So it's not necessarily the innings that I'm worried about. It's just keeping the pitch count under a controllable number, especially with the new rule that's been in place for a couple seasons now. Because the big thing is you have to strategize as a coach in making the decision. If he throws 5 more pitches, he can't pitch for another week. And the way that we have it on our team, we're going to need them to pitch twice a week. Maybe like I'm going to say innings now, like maybe 4 innings today, and then maybe finish the game the next game for like 2 innings or 1 inning. You know what I mean? It's just going to be. It just depends on the game. The game, you know, if we're fortunate enough to get a big lead, strategize a little bit differently and pull someone like Jared who's starting the game a little bit earlier than normally would. It depends on the league because I do have confidence in the other guys. But off the year he has, obviously he's going to be counted on to be in the pitching in the big games and the district games. You know, the beautiful thing about our district, it's a small district, 1 district game a week. We're not one of these teams that have to worry about 2 pitchers for district games a week. We only have 1 district game a week, so it's in my opinion, it's in our favor going into district play, only playing 1 district game a week, and then we fill in the rest of the schedule with the other teams that we play. And you know, obviously district games are the important ones for seeding in the playoffs, and then in a 4-team district, you got to win 1 game to make it to regionals, and that's we liked our chances with that.
Talk about your district. I mean, not necessarily looking for bulletin board material, but you got a nice rival in your district. Not everybody necessarily has that. And, you know, I believe in baseball, it makes it more exciting and more interesting to have a rival. You know, how does that? You know, how do you guys feel as players having somebody that you kind of know you're going to be battling with in the district like that?
Makes the game more intense. You're like locked in. You're not like goofing off. You're like ready to play. It's a lot better.
Yeah, it's just the energy in district games feels so much like higher than the rest of the games, and it's just way more fun that way.
What they said.
I mean, and I covered a lot of those district games
Yeah.
last year, so I really got to see that element of it. In those.
I'm actually not a big fan of the new format moving into next season, which takes away the required district games. I'm not a big fan in high school sports to take away the importance of that game. And it's gonna, you know, we'll worry about next year, but like at least for the 1 more season, we get to still have that feeling.
Yeah, relish that rivalry.
Yeah, and we we actually have built a pretty strong rivalry with Boca, even though they're not near us. You know, Park Vista's right down the street, and all of our kids know those kids, and they've grown up playing against each other or with each other. But for some reason, like we have a mutual respect with Park Vista.
Just the style of play.
Yeah,
and built that rivalry.
But when we play Boca, there's a very big there's a little bit more of a hatred towards our 2 teams. I don't know why. It doesn't really make much sense, but so yeah. I mean, we have really 2 rivals. I mean, one's a little bit more friendly and like a little bit more at ease. You know, even though it's a big game. But then when we play Boca, the nerves really get tight for everybody, the players, the coaches. But we'll see. They're under a new leadership, and we'll see what they have to bring to the table.
Do you, as a coach, do you like having those having some rivals?
I'd rather have the type of rivalry that we have with Park Vista as opposed to like where the players genuinely don't get along and don't like each other. Because I kind of feel that way about us and Boca. But we'll see. Hey, new season, new coach for them. Maybe things will be different. But I have a very big respect, very big time mutual respect with Larry Greenstein over at Park Vista. I coached for him for 2 years, and we're really close. So when we play each other, it's nothing like that. But there is a definitely, hey, we were the ugly, the redheaded stepchild for them for quite a few years. You know, they kind of took it to us. And then last year, we had the year that we had, and we were able to finally dethrone them. And, they're going to be formidable again, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question without, looking back at last year so much. But you guys get to defend a district title this year. You know, what's that like?
That's a different feeling, I'm assuming, because for coach going and trying to take it and actually having to defend it this time, having our name be out there like that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Talk about the Slam tournament you guys start the year with. I really enjoy that you have that.
Yeah, the Slam week is the first week of the season. There's 8 really good teams in it. We host it. We've hosted it for years. Even before I took over, it was part of our schedule. It's a great start to the baseball season. 8 really good teams battling each other. It's a tough week. The beautiful thing about the week, and the reason why, even with teams that maybe I'm not too, I shouldn't say, teams that maybe aren't ready for that challenge based on depth or pitching, it gets a chance that first week to play 4 games opening up, and everyone gets a chance to show me what they got. And then we kind of build off of that, and then everyone's going to get a chance to play. Everyone's going to get at bats. Everyone's going to get innings on the mound because you're playing 4 games that first week right out the gate against good competition. I mean, the defending state champion, Jupiter's in the tournament. They've always been in it. American Heritage, Palm Beach Gardens has been added. Boca has been added. So Trinity dropped out, and who was the other team? Dwyer's in it again. American Heritage. Atlantic and Trinity Christian dropped out this year, so we added Palm Beach Gardens and Boca. But yeah, it's really a great atmosphere. There's a lot of professional scouts that show up because it's the first week and they all can be there watching good baseball on 4 field. And it's a really taxing week. It's tough mentally, it's tough physically, but because of our pitching depth, I like our chances going into that week. And then we move into the regular week schedule of just 2 or 3 games a week. It's like a breeze. It's like, all right, if we can get through that first week without any injuries, I'm feeling pretty good about our chances.
It's kind of the same thing for the players, you know. Do you agree with him on all that?
Yeah.
Very well said, Jamal.
What are some of the things
He's a
that
man
you
of many
guys as
words.
players take away from that first
Wait,
week?
what'd you say?
know, just like I said, the challenge of 4 games. You know, again, being the host,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have more responsibilities than just showing up and playing.
Yeah, and you got to play a lot more games. You got to pitch more, and then you can get hurt easier like that. But then once regular season starts, it's easier. It's more like breeze, normal, used to it.
They don't have a lot of work to do before the tournament. I do it all.
Oh, there
So-
you go.
and we play at the county complex, so I don't have to do any field prep. So it's a beautiful thing. But no, I try to make it a just regular baseball field for them. There's nothing special about it for them, except for playing in good baseball first week of the season, playing 4 games. You know, there's no extra burden on them or parents. They don't have to do concessions or stuff. We outsource all that. So like parents just get to show up and watch good baseball. Fans get to show up. Scouts get to show up. Players just got to show up and be ready to produce. But yeah, it's a great week, and it's a great way to start off the season. As long as I'm the head coach of Santaluces, we're going to run it.
Well, here's to that being as long as we can go into the future.
Yeah.
Guys, I appreciate you taking the time here today. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions. I think wish you the best of luck going forward. Go